What's going on, guys? Cam Clark here. And in this video, we're going to be going over how to succeed with your remodeling or residential general contracting business, no matter the market condition. And so specifically in this video, we're going over how any remodeler or residential GC can add 200K per month in revenue by combining paid acquisition with referral partners. All right. So this is what I've been helping remodelers do all across the country ever since I was in the military. And we've helped dozens of remodelers scale and really escape the Home Advisor and Angie flywheel. And so by now we kind of have a predictable process and system and models of how to do this, where it really works in any market, unless you, of course, don't live near civilization. And it's also recession proof. Now, this is all without becoming a slave to your business. So I don't know about you, but I got into business to fuel my lifestyle, not my lifestyle fuel my business, without competing on price, buying shared leads, and no matter the market condition, and using these 4 recession-proof money models. This is going to be perfect if you're any sort of remodeler, residential GC, or owner of a design build firm. It's going to be value packed. What I would recommend is watch it at least 1.5x speed to save some time. And also, if you're up for it, take some notes. So getting right into it, before we can really go over how to succeed with your remodeler this year and moving forward, we kind of need to understand the current market condition. So the market is really shifting, and I'm sure you felt it every day more and more. But at the time of writing this document, the mortgage rates are at 7.54%, and they're still rising. And so recent studies by the Joint Center for Housing Studies over at Harvard predict a 5.9% drop in home improvement spending, which is a staggering 29 billion decrease in 2024. Also, this other study from the National Association of Realtors report a substantial 15.3% decrease in housing sales for the year. And so basically, housing inventory is low and home improvement spending is going down. All right. It's a tough market. It's a tough economy. People are less likely to spend. Another thing to consider is that at least 60% of remodels happen within 2 years of a real estate purchase. And, who is close to real estate purchases? It's realtors, right? And so if realtors aren't succeeding in this market, realtors are not renewing their license. What does this mean for the remodel business landscape? All right. So what this really means is decreased property purchase, escalating home prices, increased home equity, and higher financing costs. The mortgage rates are out of the sky for trying to get financing for a remodel. The interest rates are crazy. And so another thing is the Bureau of Labor Statistics saw that after 20 years of operations, only around 17% were still in business 20 years later. That's for residential construction firms in the United States. And so that's really a failure rate of 82%. All right. So, which is not good. So the market hasn't disappeared. Like, the demand is still there, but it has certainly shifted. And whether you like it or not, it's becoming more and more difficult to acquire contracts and projects profitably and really scale your business as every day passes on. And so the models I'm going to be showing you in this document will give you what you need to not only survive, but thrive in the new marketplace. And everybody who fails to implement what I'm showing you is going to be demolished by the remodelers who do implement this. All right. And so the market has shifted. The strategies of getting, profitable contracts has definitely changed, especially with the high interest economy. And I would say the lower trust society as well. Now, before I go on, just to kind of give you some context of proof. So, I actually, I have been working with remodelers. I'm not just some guy just talking randomly. Here are some of the partners we've helped scale. Here's Kevin from River City Construction out in Medford, Massachusetts, scaled from 700K per year to 2.2 million per year. All right. So before, he was buying leads from Angie, he was trying all of these different, marketing companies and all these different methods, but none of it was working. To now he's consistently getting high-end work and really building a solid backlog of all homeowners who, value his expertise and experience over price. There's also Jeff, general contractor in Apopka, Florida. I believe for December 2023, he did around 200K in revenue. It might be more, but he's getting an additional 15 plus in-home quotes every month. And before, he was spending hours following up with uninterested leads. He tried other solutions like Angie or other marketing companies. None of it worked. And then now we've really been able to help him scale. And now he's planning on expanding into a new market in Virginia with the extra cash flow generated. There's also Wheeling Group, a design build firm in Irvine, California. They generated 8 figures in 2023 alone. And I'm sure in 2024, it's going to be the same story. I could go over some more proof. Here's kind of like the leads we get, what others pay $150 to $300 for, we get for like $30. So super cheap. And then here's some of the projects that we generate. So what we're really talking about here is not handyman work. It's not painting. If you're an exterior guy, this isn't for you. This is only for residential contractors who offer interior remodels, also additions too. And this also works for decks, I would say. But yeah, these are kind of the projects we generate. So 53K, 140K for a kitchen, 30K for a bathroom, 80K, 50K, 30K, 70K. And you'll see right here that this is directly from Jobber. So all these approved quotes right here, converted, 120K, 40K. I think you get the point. Now, I could show you all the social proof in the world, but if you want to check that out on your own, then I left some links here. You can check out the Instagram. I would recommend going through my past videos as well. And then you can always join the free Remodeler Facebook group where I drop trainings like this, usually every week, if not every month. And so that's completely free. You can hop in there. And so this document will be provided at the end of this video. So who is this new scaling protocol for? And so this is for you if you've been able to scale your remodeler or GC business to 500K per year at least, because you kind of need a baseline for this to work. But you had the realization that what got you to 500K per year or even $1 million per year won't get you to 5 million per year and beyond. All right. So you have the desire to scale and grow your business, but you lack the infrastructure needed. You feel like you need to compete on price in order to get a contract and feel like, there's this really nice, maybe neighborhood in your service area or like that more affluent area of the town where you feel like your competitors just kind of have a grip on that neighborhood. You can't really break into it. You've been wanting to get leads like that, but you just haven't been able to figure it out. All right. And so you've also starting to feel the negative effects of the rise in competition, and you're kind of searching for a way to stand out from, the typical guys, the typical Chuck in the trucks who really shouldn't be competing with you. Now, this is also for you if you know what you need in order to scale, but somehow month after month, quarter after quarter, you're still stuck in the same place, making enough to feel good about yourself, yet you still know you could be doing much more. And then lastly, you're wearing too many hats, being unable to delegate effectively. You want to market, you want to put yourself out there, you want to be speaking with people, but you're constantly doing site visits or calling leads that don't pick up, doing site visits with prospects who aren't serious enough to sign a contract. All right. So the goal of this training is to walk you through the 4 steps needed to add 200K per month without risking cash flow or without risking profits, buying shared leads from some crappy shared lead company, or becoming a slave to your business. So these 4 steps are all going to be essential, and they're all going to work together to make this work. So these steps are perfect. Make sure to stay around for them. So what you will learn as a result in this training is really how to reduce the cost to acquire a customer, because the game of customer acquisition is who can spend the most to get the client. And so if you can reduce the cost to get a customer, then you essentially win at the game of customer acquisition. Or if you just make that customer more profitable to you, then that's how you can also win in the game of customer acquisition. All right. And then another thing, how to escape the HomeAdvisor and Angie hamster wheel. You don't like getting leads or calling leads that have been called by 10 other guys. And when you go to pick up the phone, they're just like, dude, leave me alone. I've been called by so many people. And so, yeah, you want to escape that. And also, the clientele, the wealthy, affluent clientele who you want to go after, they're not going to Angie and HomeAdvisor because, especially in today's low trust society, the homeowners aren't gullible. They know if they put their information in there, they're giving Angie and HomeAdvisor permission to just spread their information everywhere and just sell their, their valuable contact details. And obviously they don't want that happening. The wealthy clientele that you want to go after, they're going to the authority. They're not just saying, hey, let me get called by, 10 guys who are all going to undercut each other on price and I'll go with the last guy. They're just not doing that. And so this is also going to show you how to improve the profitability per customer, how to scale your business without putting your cash flow at risk. So really That just means putting cash flow into strategies that just don't work. We're going to show you how to avoid that. We're also going to show you how to reduce the slippage from lead to appointment. This is a huge problem. I see a lot of people complain about lead quality or leads not picking up, but it's really just their follow-up system and their sales process is just really inefficient. And there's just too much slippage there. There's not good SOPs. There's not a good follow-up system. And so we're going to show you how to do that. We're also going to show you how to outmarket your competition to become the authority and really dominate your area. And then lastly, how to build your own contract acquisition machine so you never have to pay a lead company, consultant, or marketing company ever again. All right. So step one in this whole process is, of course, back to the baseline. It's all about creating unique offers. And so the first step of this scaling protocol is adjusting your current offer. So you'll see in this graphic right here, we have Buzz Lightyear and he's saying, we offer free estimates. And then you look over at the next graphic and there's a million of them saying we offer free estimates. And, not that free estimates is a bad thing. I don't believe that's a bad thing at all, but I might be getting a little ahead of myself, but we need to do better than this, especially when we're actually creating marketing campaigns or we're reaching out or we're meeting with professionals like realtors or interior designers. This just isn't enough. It's bland. And when you kind of think of it, it's kind of like the Toyota, where instead we could be selling a Porsche, something that's much more valuable. And so in order to command premium prices, which I know you want to do, you need to have a unique offer. And so if you've ever seen a remodeling ad ever, whether that be billboard, those guys posting in Facebook groups thinking they're going to get customers, Google ads, Facebook ads, everything. It's all it is basically is, hey, we offer free estimates, call us over here. However, if everyone has free estimates to sell, then it becomes commoditized. So really what I mean by this is when I say commoditized, it's everybody's offering the same thing. And so it's really just it's not only a race to the bottom, but it's just unappealing. They've seen it before. So one of the biggest similarities I've seen between all the most successful remodelers and GCs is that they all position their offer to the homeowners as something different, something that the market isn't constantly being bombarded with, but also one that alleviates their pain points, meaning taking care of them from initial interest, design, and then build. And this is all while positioning themselves as the authority through brand so that they can demand premium prices. Because just as I mentioned before, the wealthy clientele, those big projects that you want to go after, they're all going to the authority. I know if I was getting a kitchen done, I know I would go to the most reputable, most trusted, best reviewed guy in the area with the best project photos. Now, how they display this offer is, again, through their brand and their advertising efforts. And so the great thing is once you have a proven offer, everything else kind of falls into place as it does most of the work. And with unique offers, you'll be able to stand out from your competitors and charge the highest prices because instead of leading with price, we're leading with value. All right. Instead of leading with something that's commoditized, like, hey, free estimates, we're leading with more value and something that alleviates their pain points. And so you might be wondering, like, Kaden, like, what do you mean by this? And we're getting into this. So most remodelers rely heavily on their quality or years in business, we're licensed and insured, yada, yada, yada. But here's the problem. The homeowner expects you to keep their promise. Of course, quality of the build matters. But if everybody is offering the same thing, just like this, then how are you supposed to compete other than price? All right. So if everybody's the same, that's really your only choice. And so I'm going to give you a formula for a unique offer that will, not only make you stand out, but really lead with value instead of something that's commoditized. And so this should not be 10, this should be hundreds, but I've spent hundreds of dollars, hundreds of thousands of dollars in advertising to come up with this framework and offer structure. And this is for you to book more estimates and get more premium clients. And so understanding the offer framework, first thing, it needs to be unique, different from anybody else in your target market. It needs to hit a nerve. So directly answering a client's pain point in their decision journey. It needs to have a tangible and measurable benefit. So that's all about like the objective. Does it really achieve anything? And then price, there's no strategic benefit with being the second cheapest or really the second most expensive. And then dream outcome, of course, needs to have a measurable benefit. Are you trusted enough? Do you have, the credibility to actually do this build? And that goes into the next one, credibility. That's your brand, your reviews, testimonials, not so much how long you've been in business. It's kind of nice, but it really doesn't matter that much. With credibility, It's all about your testimonials, your reviews, and your brand. And then speed. So speed is a huge one. The pros rely heavily on speed. So that means speed to lead, speed to design, speed to contract, and speed to completion of the project. All right. So kind of understanding speed, the reason why a doctor can charge 5K for liposuction is because it's so immediate. It's the definition of speed. Somebody could be fat 1 second, and then another second, all of that fat is gone. While a gym membership is $24 a month. All right. That's because the biggest part of it is speed. The doctor is instant. The gym membership, it's going to take some time. And so that goes right into dream outcome with liposuction. As long as the doctor is credible, has credibility, it's going to be done properly, and you're going to get that dream outcome of losing that weight. Whereas the gym membership, which goes into the next one, it's going to be effort and hassle, and it's less likely of dream outcome. I think like Planet Fitness, I think around 80% of their members don't actually go to the gym. They don't show up. Like their whole business model is praying that their members don't show up so they're not overcrowded. So that's like a little funny fact, but effort and hassle. So that's like communication, thoughtfulness, how you're going to set up the job to be the least hassle in the client's life. And so if we really put this into a formula, we have price, dream outcome, credibility. We want to make this as high as possible. We want to make the dream outcome as likely as possible and the credibility as high as possible. You really can't have too much social proof. And then we want to make this as low as possible. If there was something out there that could build you a full ADU in one day, that company could charge however much they want just because it's so instant. And then also effort, you want to make that as low as possible. You don't want your subs to be leaving empty Gatorade bottles on the job site, basically. And so one of the most common offer examples that we use, just so you can get an idea of what I mean by this formula, is a free budget and design consultation to make sure your project stays within budget and doesn't go past deadline. So why does this work so well, and what's so different about it? So this could literally be the same thing as a free estimate. You don't even have to offer like full design, interior drawings and 3D renderings, all that. It could be like a concept design. Like, here's what we've done, similar for your neighbors. It kind of looked like this. It could be the same thing as that, but we take care of their two biggest fears in remodeling. And this is backed by hundreds of thousands of dollars in advertising and massive market research. Their two biggest fears are their project going over budget and their project going past deadline. So I think it was a house study. It was like 72% of remodels go over budget. And the homeowner, they don't know that statistic, but they subconsciously know. It's almost like a stereotype with contractors that their project is going to go over budget. And then also going past deadline. So like one example, your ideal clients have probably heard from a friend or family member that they hired a contractor to do their remodel and their house was a complete war zone for 9 months. Like 1 week, they just weren't showing up and it ended up going way over budget. This right here really strikes a nerve. And so when you alleviate these 2 pain points in your offer, what it does is establishes trust, so credibility, and it also achieves the dream outcome. And so this is not just like offer. This can really, the biggest lever you could pull is doing this in your marketing and advertising efforts, which we're going to get into later. And so you can even implement a speed guarantee to really separate yourself from the competition. And so like one example, one of the most effective advertising lines I use for my remodel partners is, in less than 6 weeks, you can transform your home. There's no better time to start than now. Now, being able to deliver on promises such as speed and not being in a hassle in the client's life will further boost your credibility, your word of mouth, and overall brand, which in turn allows you to charge those premium prices. And so going with brand, we covered offer. Now going into brand, that's really all about what I just mentioned, your credibility, word of mouth, your testimonials, all that. But it's also your online presence. A lot of remodelers and contractors neglect this, but their social media pages look like crap. If you go to their Facebook, it's like a photo in 2017 and it's a half done project. Like it's a full gut. It's not really pleasing to the eye. And maybe there's like a finger in the frame and it just looks bad. That's like on their Facebook, and then their Instagram is just non-existent and you can't really find them anywhere else. Maybe their Google My Business profile has like 3 reviews. And so that's really just an example of a poor brand, somebody that doesn't represent themselves as an authority. And if the if they're searching for somebody to do their kitchen and, they're looking online because these people they do their research because I know I would too. And they see your social pages are just not up to date. They can't really find any like nice finished project photos, or it's like, it just looks unprofessional, then they're going to be turned off. To kind of supplement this, of course, post on your social pages, make your profile picture your logo. Don't make it like some weird, half done project photo with the finger in the frame. And also what you could do is like take pictures of your finished projects. The iPhone camera works great. You can also hire a professional camera person. Another thing is you can offer like a 3%. This is kind of some secret sauce, but this is what my partner Kevin at River City Construction does. He offers 3% discounts to clients who give him permission to leave a video testimonial. And what that looks like is it's super nice, but it's like, they walk in and it's like this huge before and after. And then after that, they give a testimonial like working with Kevin and his crew was such an amazing experience. I recommend him to anybody who's wanting to do a renovation. But when a prospecting homeowner sees that, giving testimonials like that, it really hits a nerve and it's just that much more effective. Like a Google review, of course, that's amazing. Or like a text review, but like a video review of an unraveling and the homeowner's just shocked, like, oh my God, like that. If you can implement that, you'll definitely win. And so, as I mentioned before about solid brand building, I left some examples here. So this is Wallcheck Design Build. I just like what they do. I'm not affiliated with them. And then Kevin from River City Construction, you can check out his social page. Really what the standard is, with brand. And so your brand, again, is meant to position yourself as an authority and help your paid acquisition efforts later perform better. And so really your brand, when you go to do marketing, when you go to do ads and stuff, a lot of times the homeowner will click on your profile. And if they go down, there's like no content there, not really much credibility. There's really nothing to it. They're going to be, a lot of times they won't check that out, but the ones that will are going to be turned off. And then also with brand, this is another graphic. If you're constantly posting content and they see that, and then you go to do marketing or ads like a Facebook ad, Instagram ad, they might think, hey, I've seen this company before. I guess I'll finally check them out. And so it's just that much more effective. In this document, I want to help you, get your brand started for free. So what you can do here is just go to this document. And this is the 30-day brand building plan for remodelers and residential GCs. You can just open this in a new tab and this will be a whole new document and give you really a content plan and a content roadmap of really how to clean up your social pages. Now, getting into step 2, this is all about the paid acquisition thesis. This is going to be really the bread and butter of the contract acquisition system, something that's going to feed you business year around. And so now that you have a unique offer, established brand, you're able to charge premium prices. The next step is building the right contract acquisition funnel. And so with your new unique offer, you can finally experience the true power of paid acquisition. Paid ads are so powerful. And remember here, we're only promoting or advertising full structural remodels, no handyman stuff, no painting. And so instead of relying on luck to close clients and contracts, we apply the same thesis that billionaires apply to investing. And so we invest in assets and get predictable returns on those investments. And so, for example, Warren Buffett, 20% annual returns. George Soros, 20% annual returns. Peter Lynch, 29% annual returns. So these billionaires, they're not relying on unpredictable methods to average 20% returns predictably. All right. They're not relying on referrals, word of mouth, none of that. They are putting $1 in and getting, $1.20 or $1.30, but at $1 billion scale. Now, since we aren't investing billions of dollars, we can get a much higher return. But the point of it, instead of letting our cash flow sit or spending it on liability, we want to deploy it into an investment vehicle. And in our case, that investment vehicle is going to be paid ads. And when executed properly, the average ROI, like the lowest is like 300%, but the biggest, it's way more than 3,000%. And so yet, despite this lucrative return, most remodelers, they don't just brag that they don't spend money on ads. They almost wear it as a badge of honor. If you've gone into like a remodeler Facebook group and like somebody asks like, what's the best way to get clients? They're always just like, I've been in 20 years of business and I never spend money on paid ads. And then you go to look at the profile and they're like a one-man band doing all the work in the world. And so where else are you going to allocate newly funded or newly found capital? All right, a high interest savings account only returns 2 to 3% annually. The stock market only returns 8% annually. Instead of thinking of paid ads as an expense, you need to view them as an investment. All right. I myself, I spend money on paid ads to get customers. It's an investment. And so when you use the right paid acquisition funnel, I'm about to show you, your returns are almost guaranteed and immediate. So instead of letting all your cash sit like a brokey, or even worse, spending it on things you don't need, you can apply the same thesis every billionaire is using and invest your money in a predictable and consistent investment vehicle like paid ads. And this is when we really turn on the jets. Now, before I show you what kind of marketing or ads you should be running, we need to understand the homeowner's buying journey when it comes to deciding on a remodel or renovation. And this is where most remodelers and even agencies go wrong when it comes to running paid ads, when it comes to marketing, all their strategies. You might have even tried paid ads yourself in the past, but couldn't get it to work because of this. And so I hear all the time, I couldn't get ads to work. What makes that different? Oh, it's not going to work again. And it's really all because of this. It's because you're pointing the wrong offers to the wrong audience. And so for context, only 3% of the remodel population is thinking, okay, I have this project in mind. I know what it's going to cost. I have a design in mind. Who's credible to bid this job? Only 3% of the remodel population is thinking that. And so the supply of that is super scarce. Now, 97% of the people who are deciding on a remodel are asking themselves the higher questions right here. We have the top of funnel. So those are the people just beginning. All right, do I even want to remodel? Do I want to remodel, or do I want to sell or buy a new home? Or they're thinking, all right, what do I want to remodel specifically? My kitchen, my bathroom? Do I want to build an addition? And then we have kind of the middle of the funnel, kind of the people in the middle. And so that's what's the design going to look like? And then once they figure out the design, they're like, all right, what's this thing going to cost? All right. So many prospects, start their journey asking what this would cost. And, you and I both know this is silly because without plans, there's really no answer to that question. Of course, there's a few ballparks, but there's really not a solid answer for that question. And so this puts the prospect in a tough position. They have a number in mind that they want to invest. However, a lack of trust compels most of them to keep this secret. All right. So if you ever been on a triage or a qual call, lead comes in, you're talking on the phone and you go to ask what's your budget, and they give some BS number, or they're hesitant to say it, or maybe they give it to you and it's just dude, there's no way we could do that for that number. This is why. And a lot of times they will have the budget. It's just they're scared to give it to you, and there's just a huge lack of trust that makes them keep the secret. And these are the most abundant leads. And so with this question, some go to Google, but most of them, they simply lurk on social media and blogs. They look at blogs, they look at, what other projects have cost in the past. Maybe they go to your pricing page. But the thing is, they are anonymous. And the best practice is to call them out of hiding, get them out of that trench or get them out of that bunker with a tool that they can use to answer that cost question. And so in your marketing, we can use an estimator tool like this. And so right here, if we click this link, this is a kitchen estimator, but you can do this with additions, bathrooms, decks, basements, all that. And so, they click on this. Do you own your home? Yes. Total square feet you want to add. Do you need a kitchen design? Yes. And so as you'll see, the more questions they answer, the higher the cost goes. And the idea is at the end of it, they've said all they want. They see a realistic, close to six figures, maybe six-figure budget, like that instant quote. And then they still ask for an appointment with you. Now, of course, we have the addition estimator. This is one we built for a partner. Now, don't worry so much about making the perfect calculator. What matters is they click a few buttons, see a realistic price tag, and still ask you to call them. That's really, it's up for you to decide. But in my book, that's a hyper-qualified lead. Now, after answering what's this going to cost, those with budget want to know who's the best to bid, who can I trust? But really, the best clients, they want to know who should design the job. All right, so these are really the middle of the funnel prospects. And so this 97% right here, these are all, as I mentioned, they're on blogs. A lot of them, most of them are on social media like Instagram, Pinterest, Facebook. And then right here down at the bottom, a lot of them are in Angie and Home Advisor, but that's the worst thing you can do is try to compete with them on that. And a lot of them will go to Google as well. These are the more intent based, but we'll get into which ones you should go after in a second here. Now, some of the best, as I mentioned, they want to know who's going to design the job. And these are middle of the funnel prospects. However, those wanting to know who should design the job tend to be the bigger spenders. And what we want to do here is first pull them down our top of funnel lead by answering, what's the design going to look like? And then we do this by doing educational content. All right. So educational content on the best practices, our unique offer, just as we covered in step one. And then also project galleries, previous projects, before and afters, all that. And so the best source of these middle of the funnel lead, the best ones that tend to spend more, is going to be Meta ads. And so what Meta is the company that owns Facebook and Instagram. All right. So Google ads work with this as well. We'll get into more of that later. Now, these ads and landing pages should educate the client on your value propositions, leading with value, just as I mentioned in step one. And, your experience, credibility, and expertise. And you absolutely need to demonstrate design expertise if you want any shot at those big jobs. All right. Of course, this doesn't mean you need to hire a in-house designer, just like partner up with one. And if they need a design, then boom, you have a designer. And then if the designer has any homeowners who need a solid builder, well, then boom, you just got some business right there. And so this is where I like showcasing, I'm just going to kind of give away the sauce here with the ads, but this is where I like showcasing our unique offers, such as a free budget and concept design consultation, as it answers those questions they will have in the middle of the funnel. What's this going to cost? What's the design going to look like? What do I want to remodel? And it really completes those objectives. And for one instance, this is another example you can use in your advertising. I also like adding like a checklist of benefits of remodeling because again, we need to pull them down and we need to fully convince them that they want to do this. And so once we convince them that they really want to do a remodel or a renovation, that's when once they become a lead and they come into our ecosystem, that's when we can educate them on why they should trust us and why, we're credible to bid their job. More on that later. I'm getting ahead of myself. Benefits, also going with our company as opposed to competitors, because, a lot of times in Meta ads as well, you will capture some of the 3%, like even on Facebook. And that's always great because that's so far and few. Because by the time they get to this 3%, the not so good ones, they go, the ones that are looking for like doorknob replacements or any of those rinky dinky handyman stuff, those are going to Angie and HomeAdvisor, and you really don't want those because again, it's all a price war at that point. And if you don't get that lead within a minute of calling, then you're going to be the last. Now you will get some of the 3% here, and that's great because they haven't been messed with yet by any other contractors. And that's always great, but we're going for the 97% here. The 97%, which is the least competitive because the truth is guys, nobody knows how to advertise to these homeowners. Everybody is putting the wrong offers to the wrong audience. Like they're putting offers that are meant for the 3% to these 97%, and it's just not resonating with them. That's why your advertising and marketing isn't working. And that's really what I'm showing you here is really just how to fix that. And so with this, it's the least competitive and it's the highest barrier to entry, which is good for us because while everybody is messing this up, we're the ones who are actually, giving our unique offer that strikes a nerve to their pain points. So, some benefits: free concept design, free budget estimate, selections, checklist and comparison, rapid 4-week completion reflected to your style, best reviewed remodeler in Boston, a customized kitchen to last generations, improved functionality and comfort, increase home resale value by 75%. In this type of marketing, we also touch on that client's last question, who to trust. All right, so going over who to go after in this, I'm a little bit biased, but I love going after this just because we control that client buying journey from start to finish, A to Z. Of course, many people are going to look at second options or they're going to get different opinions a lot of times. But the great thing about this is we control that buying process. Where with this, if we're not the first to get this, then they're receiving 10 other quotes. Where with this, they might receive just one or maybe two. Now, the biggest mistake we can ever make running remodeler marketing is resting on a single source of single level leads. So a single source of single level leads. All right. In the old days, everybody was addicted to leads from Google ads and SEO. But, guess what happened? There came a time where there was not enough leads going to Google for your marketing budget to spend. So what that means is Google is a search engine. It's a pay-per-click platform. And so Google ads rely on people actually searching up the thing. Kitchen contractor near me, home improvement contractor near me, who's an addition builder near me, all of that. Google rests on people searching up that term, where with Facebook and Instagram and Meta, the great thing with that is we can create interest out of thin air. So even if they're not in that 90s, we can create interest out of thin air, which isn't even really shown in the graphic here. So for example, if you have like a daily budget of $200, you really, depending on the area, you probably won't be able to spend it all, and you can't really rely on a single source. So the truth is clients stopped going to Google because of the economic news. The economic news pushed them back to the top of funnel or the middle, asking, what's this going to cost? What's the design going to look like? And then should I even do this? Because again, of the high interest area, the high cost of financing, they're like, okay, should I even do this? And so the bottom of the funnel is like I said, also most competitive. And it's where you'll see prospects constantly going back and forth, receiving quotes from other contractors. For the top and middle funnel of the homeowners, we can better control the entire sales process, A to Z, and we can also educate the lead to value our experience and our expertise over price. What I recommend to all remodelers who are doing marketing, the safest approach is to understand what lead level works best in each channel, which I just showcased to you, and build your system over time to capture them all, diversify. I see too many times remodelers and marketers give offers that are meant to, go to the 3%, but waste time and resources trying to make the offer work for the 97%. It's kind of like just putting two pieces of the puzzle that just don't match. All right. So for Google ads in this document, you can go here. There's a negative keywords list, because another problem with Google ads is like you'll get a bunch of people searching up like a remodeling contractor near me, but it's not really a prospect. It's not a lead. It's actually some random dude who's looking for a job. I had to learn from those mistakes, because a lot of times you'll just get these people who are looking for a job. So in this, I gave my negative keywords list. And so this way you'll be able to save a lot of money on marketing without getting called by people who are just searching for a job. And so in summary, using these paid ad strategies that I just went over right here, Scott from Gwilin Group, Design Build, GC in Irvine, went from $175 per lead to less than $27 per lead, which resulted in a record-breaking $700K month for the company. And so you'll see right here, this was before, and then this is after. And this is all because we implemented this right here. We understood this funnel right here, where the homeowners are at, what is the market research, what questions are they asking themselves, and what are their fears, what are their pain points, and how can we overcome those to not only make them decide on the remodel, but make them decide to go with us. Now, a little PS, if you want to see my most successful ad I've ever ran, which by now it's actually resulted in 200 leads, I should say, because it's still running, for 200 leads for $28 each. What you can do is just join the free remodeler Facebook group right here. Just click this link and then just message me, and I'll send you the exact ad, the exact script, the exact photo, everything of what we did, the exact targeting, like who we actually targeted, and I'll send that over to you. And so this is really how you escape the third-party lead vendors and relying on word of mouth and referrals. And this is also how you beat your competitors at the game of customer acquisition. It becomes really, really hard for other remodelers to compete with you when you're getting $30 qualified leads. All right, really hard. Of course, $30, that depends on the market. So the game of customer acquisition is who can spend the most to acquire a customer. And so the two ways to compete: make the customer more valuable to you, increasing prices, therefore increasing profits to fund getting your next customer. All right, that's what I showed you with the offers. And then number two, really what my job is figure out how to generate those leads cheaper. So not only are the leads cheaper, but we're also getting them at a higher price. All right, so if we do the math with this campaign right here, 30 leads at $30, that equals $900. Now, let's say one out of every three book an appointment. Maybe some of them are unqualified. Maybe some of them are like busy at their kids' soccer game, so they don't respond for a while. So that's 10 in-home appointments, $300. And let's say we're not the best closer. Maybe we show up to the house smelling. We only close 10%. So that's one contract sold for a price of $900. Now, as I showed you in I'm not even going to go up there, but you saw in the proof and the social proof section, we're not advertising handyman work. We're going for those bigger projects. So let's say the project was like a $30K build. Well, with 30% profit margins, that means you put in $900 to net $9,000 in profit. That's a 900% ROI. And that's really a money printer right there. And that's not even counting in the rest of the revenue. And so from this extra cash flow, we can put it back into the system to hand us our next contracts on a silver platter. All right. And this is what Alex Hormozi coined customer funded acquisition, where it just becomes so predictable. Your system is so predictable at feeding you business that it almost can be compared to the customer funding your marketing. All right. Now, going on to step 3, building hyper productive sales teams. All right. So, what does this mean? Well, marketing and advertising campaigns are just one piece of the puzzle. If you don't want to be ghosted or be spending all day being left on voicemail, the key is in the follow up and nurturing process, also like kind of the educational process. And so, just as we mentioned, speed plays a significant role in your offer. Speed to lead means that the sale and the contract, the client goes to the vendor that responds the quickest. All right. Now, we're not getting leads from Angie and Home Advisor, so it's not like we're competing with others. But if we don't respond quick, meaning within 5 minutes or at minimum within 30 minutes, I really don't like 5 minutes. That should be the standard. But even within 30 minutes, then the prospect could forget about you. That's when they could get busy, maybe go to work, go to their kid's soccer game, pick up the kids from school. And so just some studies for context, because I want you to understand this huge importance, especially with today's decrease in attention spans. Everybody's on TikTok and Instagram just scrolling. 75% of sales go to the vendor that responds first. Following up within 5 minutes makes you 9 times more likely to engage with them. After 30 minutes, the probability drops by 80%. Those that attempted to reach leads within 1 hour were 7 times more likely to have a meaningful conversation with the decision maker. Only 37% of remodelers respond within the first hour. 77% of Americans said that they won't pick up the phone from a number they don't recognize. All right, so getting a little ahead of myself, but that essentially means that calling them is not really enough. We need to also text them and email them. With text, 98% of texts get read, whereas email, it's like with B2C, I think it's like 20% of them get read. So like it's important to email, but text is definitely a moneymaker. All right, and so another sales hacker study, a prospect needs 8 touch points to book an appointment. That's not even to sign a contract. And one of my buddies, he has a YouTube channel. He asked his audience like when they were subscribed to them, and he found out that it took an average person to watch 6 videos of his YouTube channel to even just click subscribe, like not even like buy from him, just like click subscribe. And so that just kind of just goes to show the follow up and nurturing process is super important. And what I'm about to show you, it might look intense with how many times we follow up, but it's absolutely needed and it's essential if you want to succeed in today's market. All right. So if you've followed all the steps in this training, you will find yourself in a place where you have more leads and inbound calls than you could possibly ever handle by yourself. And now that you have a way to predictably generate leads on autopilot, you need a way to predictably convert those leads into in-home appointments so you can actually have meaningful conversations with these homeowners. And this is where you need to learn and implement the skill of building hyper-productive sales teams. In other words, what that really means is a fancy word for building follow-up infrastructure, follow-up systems. When I say sales teams, that doesn't really necessarily mean like hiring like 5 callers to just dial all your leads. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about follow-up infrastructure, multiple ways a prospect can come in, be a lead, and then multiple ways a prospect from that lead can turn into an in-home appointment. I'm about to show you how we actually do that here. And so I've seen more people than I can count generate all the leads in the world, just either stay stagnant or lose it all. And this is because they fail to adapt the new skills and insights required to handle this many leads and opportunities. And this actually happened to the very first remodeler I worked with. We were generating around 60 leads a month. And I thought it was like going great. I was like, hell yeah, this is amazing. And the campaigns were amazing on paper, but our back end was screwed. Leads were left to rot. We continued to let them slip through the cracks because of our inefficient follow process. Appointments weren't coming in. In essence, it was really just unprofitable. And so with this, I really learned that business is just really about elevating constraints. And elevating constraints, fancy word for fixing problems. If you're lucky enough to find yourself in the position of availability being your constraint, the way to elevate this constraint is by really what we do is we leverage AI and technology in our follow-up process. And 2, using leveraged labor. And so that's appointment setters to convert the homeowners into ready to buy prospects. And so before I go into how to do this, here's the misconception about ads and marketing in general. Most people think ads and marketing, this is how they work. So prospect sees your ad, they become a lead, then you do a site visit, and then you close a contract. This is really just missing several key components. And you first need to understand what marketing is not. It's not simply just putting a basic offer and then leads becoming leads, you book them for an appointment and then you start closing deals. It's really just not profitable. Maybe in 2015, but now it's just really not profitable. And so in order for your paid acquisition funnel to be profitable and convert as many leads into contracts, You need a funnel that has multiple conversion mechanisms paired with your marketing. So what I mean by conversion mechanisms is multiple ways that a prospect from a lead, they're a lead now, from a lead, they can turn into an in-home appointment. All right. And so think of conversion mechanisms as like nets, where a lead can come in and you don't cast one, but multiple nets to engage the lead and bring them closer down the funnel where they're ready to sign a contract. It could also kind of think of it as like sea turtles. I don't know how many eggs sea turtles lay, but they lay like thousands because they know some of them are not going to work, but some of them, the very few, are going to make it, and then boom, their bloodline goes on. And so this is the exact paid ads thesis that all of my current partners are applying to profitably close projects, even in a high interest era. And so most people either have the misconception of how paid ads actually work, or they just try to cut corners. And as a result, their marketing eventually becomes unprofitable and they have to turn them off. And so the key to ad campaigns and marketing at scale are conversion mechanisms. So this is how they actually work. So a prospect might see your ad, they go to the landing page, maybe they become a lead. This is best case scenario is they just go straight here. But we know a lot of times that's just not going to happen. All right. So that's when they go down the conversion mechanism. So they might book an appointment with your appointment setter. All right. Maybe that doesn't work. All right. They go to the automated text. That doesn't work. Automated emails, email broadcasts. There's even more that I just didn't include in this graphic here. Or maybe they didn't become a lead. Maybe they're like, I don't know about now, but then they see your retargeting campaign and they decide to pull the trigger. All right. And that's how you get them back up to actually book an appointment with you. And so the first conversion mechanism is email and SMS marketing, or I like to call like AI text sequences. And so really, if a lead opts into your ad and doesn't book an appointment, they should be automatically added to an autoresponder campaigns via email and SMS marketing. And so you can do this with softwares like Go High Level or Close.io, but it's going to take a while to learn those softwares, I'll just say, which is why we just set this all up for the people that we work with, so they don't even have to worry about it. But for example, they should be put in a 35-day, 15 email sequence, 15 email and also 15 SMS sequence, trying to get them to not only book an appointment with you, that's our objective, but also another objective is to educate them to value your experience and expertise over price. All right. So that's how you improve the quality of the lead and also throw stones at your competition. And that means, hiring the typical chuck in the truck contractor. First off, he's not qualified to do your project. And then second, if you decide to go with them, it's going to be a massive mistake. And the goal is instill fear that there's nobody else to trust but you. And so for my example, we send 10 SMS personalized AI texts and then 15 emails within the first 35 days of a lead coming in. So what I mean by like AI personalized is it's personalized based on, of course, their name. If you just send a text like, hey, I saw you requested a free design consultation, they're going to be like, who is this? Like, was this text even meant for me? But if you say, hey, Karen, I saw you were interested in a free design consultation for your possible kitchen project. Do you have time for a few questions on what you'd like done? That's way more personalized. They know it's personalized because you included what they want and they know like who it's coming from. All right. That's how you get more engaged leads. And it might seem like a lot, but it's absolutely needed to manufacture engaged leads. And also, of course, if you like money, this is also needed. So this is the first and most basic conversion mechanism. However, it is the most important because 77% of Americans won't pick up the phone from a number they don't recognize. And so, for example, Cole Gordon, the founder of Closers.io, spends about $500,000 a month on this exact paid ads funnel. And he says that 20 to 30% of the calls from his paid ads actually come from the email and SMS marketing automation on the back end. All right. So they might see your ad, they opt in, they go to the booking page and they're like, I'm not really ready to book an appointment. Or, shoot, it could be maybe 6 months they don't respond. But because you're sending continued emails like every 2 weeks, which is what we do, if they don't respond within 35 days, they go into a 6-month email nurturing sequence. And by the time that they are ready to have a conversation about doing their possible renovation, then they know exactly who to go to because you're already top of mind. And so not only should you have an autoresponder that lasts 30 days, but just as I mentioned, you are paying for ads, but you're also building a real asset, and that's an email list. And so on top of the autoresponder campaigns, you should also be sending at least 2 email broadcasts every week to everyone on your list. And this will help further the relationship, provide more social proof, and nurture everyone on the list, which ultimately leads to more estimates and increased ad efficiency. And so Cole also said that leads who originally opted in to one of his ads and continue to read the broadcast emails before booking an appointment months later had a significantly higher close rate due to them being nurtured for months. All right, so conversion mechanism number 2, and that is appointment setters or leveraged labor. So you've likely heard the term appointment setter before, yet most people still don't truly understand the actual role. And so appointment setters are they're another conversion mechanism designed to increase the efficiency of your marketing campaigns. They're meant to really make your ads and marketing campaigns perform better while increasing lead quality. So while the AI and autoresponder texts are great for following up with leads, the best way to actually qualify and get the necessary info about the lead before doing the site visit is calling them for that, of course, human touch and meaningful conversation. And so if you want to know why our partners get such a good reply rate and more high quality engaged leads while others fall short, is because others are missing the key link while, we combine the two. If you combine these two, then your response rate is going to be great. And so you can do the appointment setting yourself. That's actually a really good practice just because you know your company better than any appointment setter will. And perhaps you're already doing it. But if you want to get, 5 million per year range and beyond, at that point, you really need to be doing higher leverage activities and not be stuck making these calls yourself. The biggest companies, when a lead comes in, their CEO isn't calling the lead themselves, right? And so you might be thinking, won't appointment setters cut into my margins? And the truth is, you don't even have to hire a US-based W-2 employee, because I love profit, and anything that can be outsourced for less while not risking talent should be. So for example, what we do is we provide appointment setters from overseas. So that could be South America or the Philippines, and they are pre-trained. They're ramped up to perform by us so that when the guys I work with receive these hires, it's pretty much on a silver platter. They don't have to train them themselves. Again, the big lever with this is, one, they're not a robot. And then 2, they're actually fluent in English. Now, the great thing with this is they work from anywhere from $4 to $5 per hour. You can provide more bonuses if they perform well, or maybe they're responsible for a closed deal. If you want to see our appointment setting script where you can get all the juicy stuff out of the lead, like the actual budget and timeline without coming off as an invading prick, then you can just go to this Google Doc right here. I give it away. This script could be updated. We're constantly refining this to make it perform as best as possible. So an appointment setter is probably one of the best hires you can make, and they can even make a terrible ad campaign profitable. All right. Now, conversion mechanism number 3 is retargeting. I'm sure you've heard of retargeting campaigns. They are essentially another conversion mechanism used to increase the overall profitability of your paid ads. And you can easily set up an automation where everybody who shows interest but doesn't become a lead. This will actually increase the effectiveness of all of the other mechanisms that we talked about, because not only is the lead being emailed, texted, called by the setter, but they're also being retargeted with your ads every time they open up Facebook, Instagram, or even Google. We're just hitting them with so many touch points. So in conclusion, this is really how you build a hyper-productive sales team to feed you profitable remodel contracts year round without working more, without giving yourself more workflow or more workload, and really how you delegate effectively in your sales process. Now, going into the last step, this is one of the most important ones, is leveraging referral partners. So at this point in the process, you have your campaigns bringing in you a predictable amount of leads and your sales team converting them into booked estimates and contracts, but why not aim higher, right? In order to build a sustainable growth of profits, we need to develop a source of referrals that are connecting you with top income, affluent earning homeowners, and a source where you can be the real solution to any renovation or build related problems or questions. All right. So for some context, a Harvard study found that 60% of remodels happen within 2 years of a real estate transaction. And there's not a study on this, but I just know this as a fact. Many affluent homeowners, the ones who have the big budgets, who need big projects done, will speak to an interior designer first before they even speak to a contractor. And so just as we mentioned in this funnel, like, what's the design going to look like? Like, who do you think they're talking to here? A designer, maybe an architect, maybe an engineer. And then up here, they might speak to a realtor. And then that's why a lot of guys are just losing, is because they're just getting them right here where they should be just getting them right here. But going on, this is really especially good if you don't have any budget for marketing at first. And the reason referral partners work so well is that, one, oftentimes you'll get clients who are at the bottom of the funnel but haven't been blasted with other quotes from other contractors, which is rare. And number 2, Nobody else is doing this, which means it's a very untapped and recession-proof way to feed you business year round. All right. It's like it's free referrals. You don't even have to spend anything besides the time actually meeting with the realtors and interior designers on actually getting the customer. And so being able to form strategic referral partners with not only realtors, but also interior designers, it really has the potential to feed you an extra 1 million to, all the way to 3 million per year in projects. For example, I worked with one guy, and within 30 days of speaking with one of the realtors, he already got a referral for an addition. And so like nobody else is doing this. Nobody else is putting themselves out there. And this is why a lot of times you feel like, how are these guys getting those big projects with those homeowners? Like, what are they doing differently than me? Well, there's a good chance they could be implementing on this. All right. So just, you might ask like, all right, Cannon, like, how do I even like reach out to them? Like, how do I actually initiate a conversation? Because before we can even work with them or like, hey, you want to feed me referrals? We first need to get them to agree to talk business. And so that's what I'm really going to be covering here is how to get them to agree to talk business with you. Later video, I'll actually go over how to actually convert that meeting. So like once you actually meet them in person or over the phone, I prefer in person, but once you actually meet them, how to carry that conversation, how to direct that conversation where you answer the designer and realtors pain points and you actually close that deal. You actually get that referral source, and also how to avoid the non-producers, the ones that, that's mainly going to be a realtor problem. Designers, you're really not going to have a problem with that. But with the realtors, how to avoid the non-producers. Now, the key here, how to speak with these people is volume and saving time. That's what I stress the most is volume, just getting as many messages across, but also saving us time because we already have enough work on our plate. So I don't believe in cold calling these prospects for handouts. I wouldn't want to be doing that. Now, walking the brokerages to introduce yourself, that could definitely work. I'm not totally against that, but as I mentioned, key here, volume and saving time. So kind of just to show you what that looks like, this is what our Remodel Favor referral partner campaign comes in. And so what we do instead is we build, run, and launch an automated campaign, an automated email campaign that contacts every realtor and interior designer in your area through AI personalized messages. And so the goal with this is to establish multi-six-figure referral partnerships for your business. So what this looks like is it's like the same with the follow-up text when you get leads, right? Except for this one, you're outreaching to a realtor or interior designer. So, we have their name, we have which brokerage they're at, and then we also pretty much, getting a little bit ahead of myself, but we come with our value stack. And so this really results in at least 3 to 5 realtors and interior designers in our email inbox every week who are ready to meet for coffee and talk business every week, all without cold calling or walking the brokerages, begging for referrals. You can do that. That's totally fine. But I just prefer this because, this way you're also only speaking to realtors and designers who are producing and have the clientele to work with you. Because if a realtor is not producing, they don't have clients, they're not working with anybody, then they're just going to ignore the email, which is great. We didn't waste our time on them because it's just an automated campaign anyway. And also a realtor's net worth is directly related to their network. And so especially a producing realtor, a lot of them either one, they have a reliable GC to go to, or two, they're really going to need one because, they're producing, the client moves in, they want this renovation done, or the client's thinking about renovating and they want to speak with a trusted GC in their network. And then also the designers, a lot of affluent homeowners are going to them. And so really how to pitch is, the pitch to a realtor is going to be different to a designer, but surprisingly not that different. And just as we lead with value in our unique offer, we're going to do the same with our outreach to these professionals. So the unique offer can be applied to not only marketing, advertising, our baseline, also our referral partners when outreaching to these professionals. And so here's the the exact pitch. This is some sauce. The exact pitch we've used over email to attract 10 plus strategic referral partnerships, no matter which location it is. I'm not going to read all of this here. Actually, I'll read some of it. So our company is largely built on the quality realtor relationships. So I understand the time and emotional pressures our mutual clients demand from us. The value we bring to the table is largely built on our famous 24-hour turnaround for bids on inspection reports and real-time tech support on construction-related questions your clients may have during walkthroughs. All right, so you'll see right here, The unique offer is also applied. So in our case, it's credibility. So right here, we're experienced home remodelers with over 65-star reviews, credibility. All right, speed, largely built on our famous 24-hour turnaround for bids on inspection reports, and then support. So that's like another one. Also, a little bit dream outcome, real time tech support with any construction related questions that your clients may have during walkthroughs. Now, kind of the big thing that relates to all this is just convenience. We're just much more convenient. And again, that's really just how you stand out. And so below is like a screenshot. All the green are interested professionals who want to chat and talk business and feed us referrals. You can go check that out. For designers, I use this pitch. It's pretty similar. That's really it for the leveraging referral partners. Now, if you combined all of these models together, the road to 5 million is only a matter of time. And so this is really just the tip of the iceberg for Model Favor. And the great thing is we can actually help you implement the knowledge from this document ASAP on a walkthrough call with myself or a team member. Obviously, if you can implement this yourself, great, great. I'm a huge fan of that. Or if you just say, hey, I just want you to do that, then that's also fine. Now, on this one-on-one call, what we'll do is we'll do a current systems audit. So we'll kind of uncover like the current bottlenecks in your client or contract acquisition and fulfillment infrastructures that are really like holding you back from scaling. We'll also give you kind of your growth roadmap. So we'll show you the exact implementation path that we would take based on your business's current situation. And with that, we'll also show you exclusive insights. So we'll really show you what's working for remodelers and GCs right now. And we'll also give you kind of sneak peeks into really other methods that we're using to really stockpile these projects. And then, of course, money back guarantee. If you do qualify to work with us, of course, we can really only work with remodelers doing at least 500K per year because you just kind of need a baseline. But even then, if you do qualify to partner us, then we'll show you how our money back guarantee works. And if it makes systematic sense and financial sense, then great. If not, then, you got to see some sneak peeks. So you can just go to this document and then just click here, open a new tab, and you can just go ahead and book a walkthrough call right here. And so, yep, hope this was value packed. Give me some feedback. If you got this through an email, reply to the email, or if this is like a Facebook post, comment any questions that you might have or comment what you found most helpful. And if you're seeing this on YouTube, make sure to subscribe because that helps me out a lot. But other than that, thank you for watching. And be coming out with more trainings.